Sorry, my throat does not want to clear. Welcome, Isobuddies, to the Isobuddies Productions channel. So we today are blessed. We are going to talk to Andrew Sensky from DEA Exotics. I believe I said his last name right. I hope so. It's Andrew Ellicott. No. That's my poor joke from last week. Yeah, Sensky is how it is. I hope that's how I pronounce it. And we're going to take a look at some leopard geckos. We're going to talk about genetics. We are going to talk about a quick hatching. We're going to talk about a quick kind of entry level genetic discussion. So about how to try to get good genetics into your lizards. I know a little bit about like my whole personal information about genetics started and almost ended with leopard geckos back in the day. I don't remember both of the names of the big breeders back in the day. We're going to get into that a little bit, hopefully. Andrew sent me a ton of great pictures of some of his fantastic. He's got some fantastic stock. So we may have him back again to talk about leopard geckos or not leopard geckos, tarantulas and isopods and whatever else. Wally's here too. Awesome. We're already out of the box doing a good show. Let me bring Andrew on now. And so sit back. This should be good. Andrew, welcome to Isobuddies Productions.
Hello.
Glad to have you. How are you? Long-time viewer. I'm doing well. Yeah. I'm very glad to have you finally because you were like my first non-friend viewer. Everybody else was a friend of mine already, and then all of a sudden you showed up, and I was like, you and whoever Moon Over Miami is. I still don't know who that is. But
yeah, as much as he comes on, because I do with Fauna Radio and stuff. As much as he comes on, I don't remember his name either. So
yeah, so I need to find that out. I have to keep teasing that I'm gonna like stalk him or something. But you were literally one of my first viewers. First off, hey, what's up, Rick? So we've got Rick, we've got Wally, we've got Ching. There's Moon. There he is. All right, just like or she. I don't know.
We were just talking about you, Moon.
We were. Your ears must have been burning. Your internet ears. So how did you find us? How did you find us? First of all, I want to know how I got
Wally Kern.
Wally brought you over. All right.
Yes.
Cool. Did you watch his video when he was on first? Is that what brought you in?
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of when we went big. I think I went to like over 50 viewers at that point. So I had a lot of friends and family who subbed and then never watched again. They just did it because I badgered them. So we're very happy to have as many people as we can, just to share the information. I think it's an interesting topic. I think or interesting topics that we cover here and get some entry level stuff. So I am going to try to figure out how to get the pictures posted up here. Let's see. I wonder if I can get them in a slideshow situation. But in the meantime, so you've been breeding leopard geckos for how long?
Off and on for, 15. I'd say 15 years because I had a bunch and then I got out of them and then I got back into them and then I got back out of them and then I'm back into them again. But I've been in the reptile hobby for 30 plus years, 35 years.
Oh, wow. Look how you started.
Working at a pet store actually is what got me started in it.
Okay. So, you want to drop any names, or was it a mom and pop or a big guy?
It was just a mom and pop store called Pets Are Fun.
The best kind of pet store, usually. I've worked for some shady individuals in the past. I hear we're getting some lag. I'm going to see. You're not lagging to me, so that's weird that Moon is getting. Is anybody else getting lag out there? So I'll look into it if you are, but if you're not, I'm going to put that one on Moon.
Yeah.
Nobody's reaching.
Yeah,
it's crystal clear on my end for once. So
same here.
I can tell I'm dealing with a professional who does YouTube on his own. Okay, nobody else is getting lag. All right, we're good. So let me figure this out while we talk. So what was your first reptile that you really got into, like really got you into the hobby?
I would say Burmese Pythons were the big one that I first started with.
Burmese, okay. Wow, that's a big way to start.
Yeah, it was a big one. Back in the day, ball pythons and stuff like that, when they came in, they weren't the healthiest animals because it's when they used to import everything. Nothing was really being bred yet.
For sure, yeah, 30 years ago, totally different hobby.
Yeah, so it started with Burmese pythons and went from there to ball pythons, retics, boas. Okay. And that's what I mainly stuck with for a long time. And then
You were a
I
snake
moved
guy.
on to, yeah, pretty much at the time.
Okay.
And then fish. I got into it. I got into fish too. So
Okay. What was your jam on fish?
discus.
Discus. You didn't go small on anything back then.
No.
Discus back then were a pretty penny too, because
Yeah, they still are.
yeah, but I mean, you have your kind of like generic ones that aren't so bad. But I felt like back
Yeah.
in the day, all of them were pretty pricey, and you were looking at big setup costs, just because they were
Yeah.
so finicky. I think now we have them kind of dialed in a little better. Is that?
They got them dialed in. What they got is they got two kinds. They got your German species, which are like your American species, pretty much too,
Yeah.
and your Asian species, which you can't mix the two together because they both have different. They're both immune to different pathogens and stuff. And you put them together, like your Asian discus could have this pathogen that it's immune to, and the Germans won't. So if you put them together, they'll all die. It's weird, but it
They'll
happens.
all die.
Yeah, because they both pass pathogens against towards each other. And
Oh my god! I didn't.
so
even
if you're
know
going,
they were Asian. I didn't
yeah,
know
they got the ones in Asia are raised in off of well water, and the ones that are in German are like the water we have, so it makes a difference.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like Asia has that cool situation where they can just do it outside because they're in some parts of Asia, their weather is just constantly that 90 degrees outside, 80-degree water temperature or high 70s, and they can just crush. Like I was breeding Siamese fighting fish, the beta splendens for a while on a competitive level, and it was awesome, but I was always jealous. No matter what I did, it was like some third grader from wherever, Taiwan or whatever, was breeding things that blew my stuff out of the water. Like it made my stuff look like a goldfish, like a comet. So
Yeah, the Asians, they when you get over in like into Taiwan and like Thailand and all that, they take their fish to a different level with
it's a
breeding
way of
fish.
life.
Yep.
Like when I first saw a video on YouTube of the guys walking, they just had the jars set up like packed together, and they're walking on the top of them feeding. I was like, what is this? That blew me away. It's like, how do they even know what's in these jars? How do you even know? So, okay, so back to leopard geckos. So when I first got into them, and when I say into them, I've kept one or two at a time. I had one breeding trio for a little while that just was, I mean, I don't know. I just had them and they bred. That was it. It wasn't like I tried it. I just was keeping them together to see if it would work. And they were just your generic standard leopard geckos. And then I had a higher end one that I traded a bunch of fish for. That was great for a while. But I remember back in the day, now I don't remember the other breeder's name, but all of the great genetics came from Tremper and another guy whose name I can never remember.
I know
Wasn't
Tremper.
it Tremper? You know Tremper, right? The other guy.
Tremper, yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the other guy.
I wouldn't even.
Guys. Okay. So that guy, nobody knows who that guy is. If anybody knows who that guy is, give a shout out because it's driving me crazy.
The Bells, they were big breeders, and so were the Rainwaters. I don't remember his first name either. So
the Rainwaters.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that.
Bell. It was Bell. See, Wally Kern said Bell.
Okay, Tremper and Bell. Okay,
that's who I'd have to think.
That makes sense. That sounds right. I kept wanting to say like it kept messing me up like Semper Fi. Like I was thinking Tremper Psi. No, that's not it. But that's where all the genetics back in the day that I knew of, that's where all the genetics came from. People, every table at every booth had like, oh, this is from this lineage and this lineage. And now it's just exploded, right? It's just all over the place. There's all kinds of breeders that are coming up with phenomenal stuff now, right?
Yeah, and it got messed up for a while because even Wally Kern, I believe, did a video on it talking about how the genetics all got like messed up, and then people would complain saying that ain't this and this ain't that, and it kind of died down a little bit, and then now it's picking back up because people are really, you got people like Gary Orner who's working on reverse engineering stuff to get it back to its original.
Okay.
Like you got to get the certain things out of the animals. And that's what he's really working on. There's a couple people working on it, but Gary Horner's really working on it.
I would imagine that's super hard to get it out of once it's in
Well,
there. It's like,
yeah. Well, he says it takes like 200 some odd eggs just to get one to prove that it doesn't have it in. After you get it down, then you have to breed that and get like 100 eggs or something, 200 eggs to make sure that it doesn't have it in it. Still,
wow, that's
and
a lot of effort.
Oh yeah, and he was way into one. He was like 75 eggs in on one, and then the genetic popped back up, and he had to start all over again.
Oh
so
my God.
He was like, it's hard once they put it in there. Because everybody just, instead of keeping stuff separated, they just started breeding stuff together to try to get the next best thing instead of making sure they kept the lines clean, and they never did.
And that's what crushes a hobby. That's what just destroys it. And then how do you can't put those demons back in the box? Or I guess you can, but it's super difficult apparently.
It's very difficult.
So it takes 200 runs to get through.
Pretty much. I think I'm pretty sure that's what Gary was saying. Is like 200 eggs to prove that, like years. What do you get? Like 10 eggs? Like 5 to 10 years to prove that it's pure again, and then you can start selling the babies as pure again.
Oh my God! And then
it's a lot.
That person's starting over from a pure, basic thing. So like
like Patty, like if you have a patternless, instead of having patternless bells or patternless trempers, you got to get the albino out of it, and then it's like trying to, and everything has eclipse in it. Try to get the eclipse out of the stuff is almost impossible. It's a lot of work. But people are working on it.
Yeah, it was a lot of work to get all that stuff in there. So I can't imagine getting it all out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. I couldn't figure out where I put all these pictures. Let's see if we can set up a slideshow. And then, sorry, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to get you started on a topic. So genetics, if I was going to start a breeding project right now, let's say I want like extreme Caretail. Let's just throw that out there. Is that a thing? Mm-hmm. Is that even a thing? That was like, Caretail was a big deal when I got out of it.
Everything. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff has the Caretail in it too. It's got, everybody's trying for that totally orange animal. And I think the closest one I've seen was that, I think it was Miles. He had one that looked phenomenal. It was like all except for the feet were orange. And I mean a bright, like fluorescent orange, like that would be so orange.
Cool. Yeah, like on the end of these tails and some of these that if I get these pictures, we're gonna see. Let's see, where are we at here? Because it just is so cool to see how many different properties you can get out of these animals, different traits.
And then the change as they grow. Now that first one I sent you the picture of, where it's like stretched up looking.
Yeah.
That one was, when it was a baby, was that baby one that's totally black on there when it was born.
See, that part's impossible. I see all the pictures, like we brought up Wally. Wally's been posting pictures of all the baby geckos he's had recently. And you have to have an eye, right? You don't know what it's going to look like as an adult, or do you have an idea?
Well, that one I didn't, because that's a new, it's called the Clouded line, which is kind of new. A lot of people don't know about that one yet. And it comes out really dark like that. But then the further generations you go down the line, the darker the animals get. It's like a new melanistic line. Okay. So as you see that babies that come out that were jet black was that one that's almost white at the top with the light colors.
Let's see if I can get these on here so we can talk about them individually. Can I make this a slideshow? Slideshow. Here we go. All right, and then we'll put this in here. We'll screen share. Oh, that didn't work like I wanted it to. We'll do it manual. How's that? Here we go. Yeah. Let's see. Screen share here. And can I get that in here? There we go. All right, this should show up. Is that showing up now or no?
No, I don't see it. Oh, something's gonna happen.
Here we go. Something's happening. Let's see if we can make this bigger. Did that block it out? Kind of.
No, I could see it.
Okay, so this is the guy we were talking about. We start at the beginning. I just went right past it.
Yeah.
These are some great looking geckos too. Holy cow. I think I saved some of these a couple times. So what? This is the one you're talking about, the baby that was dark.
Yes.
And it turned into this guy.
Yes.
Okay, and this is the clouded line that you're talking about.
Yes, that's the clouded line.
So now, when you say darker, are you saying like the whole body's getting darker, or they're getting more pronounced?
Well, the darker spots are coming in, but Gary, who has started the clouded line, has a one that's totally almost. It's like a chocolate color. The whole thing really, really dark.
That's amazing, and they're such cool lizards. Like they're just such cool lizards with so much personality.
Did you? Wally Kern is saying something. That's a Max Snow. You can make your whole screen bigger.
It won't replace you and Andrew in the stream. But I can't see it then, Wally. All right, let's see. Is that what he's talking about?
I have no idea.
We'll find out. No, I can't crop it.
Yeah.
I don't know why these are coming in so small. This is weird. All right. This is the technical difficulties I deal with because I don't know any of this stuff.
I know if you go to screen share, you could share them right out of your off of your Facebook Messenger that I sent them to you on without moving them to anywhere.
Right from there. Okay.
Yep. No, yeah. If you go to your Facebook and then you go directly to your, and then when you open it up, you hit click.
Look at this. I'm getting pro tips here. Bear with us, folks. We're going to make a better show next week. All right. Where are they?
Right there.
Forward.
You don't even have to forward. Just click on the picture. There.
There we go.
There.
All right. So this is where kind of got this one twice.
Yep.
Look at this guy. That is just too cute. The faces on these guys. Now, how old is a gecko about this size?
That a couple days old. That's only a couple days right there.
Unreal.
And that's how dark it was.
Wow. And they start like this, and then they turn into this white and yellow.
Yeah, not all of them though. Just this one. His sister was just the opposite. Was almost all white, and now she's getting darker. So it's weird, and she looks almost just like them as they're bigger. They look almost like alike, except her spots are really dark and his are white light, and he's getting a whiter head, and she's turning more of a brown color, darker.
So you never know what you're going to get, really. This guy probably turned super dark, right?
Yeah. No, this is the same one that you were just looking at. That's changing this.
Oh, he changed into this.
Yeah.
I like these fake eye spots on his nose.
Yeah. That's how they're starting to get it's starting to get darker. I mean lighter as it goes.
Wow, if that would have kept that coloration throughout its life, like this is gorgeous.
That was like a day after it was born. That's how dark it was.
And so this took you. Now, did you pursue geckos that had the traits that you were looking for, or did you have them in your collection already? Your breeding stuff.
I wanted the darker stuff. Like I wanted it to do that way.
Okay.
So I kind of went out and looked for that stuff. That's the sister to that one that was.
And so now she's really dark, is what you're saying?
Yes, she's getting darker, and she started off almost all white.
Such a shame, because look at these spots. I don't know if you can see my mouse down here on my screen share, but the spots on the tail that are dark, right where the tail meets the body.
Yeah,
where it's got like an orange circle around.
Orange. I could show you another. I'll send you another picture that's really good. Of not this one, but of a different one that is. I love its tail. I'll show it to you here. Wait a minute.
This guy's well fed.
Where is it?
This guy's getting all the wax worms.
Yeah, that's a That's a rainwater albino female.
Okay.
Now, where is this one at that I was going to show you? This one here is also from the same pairing as the first two, but there now when that picture comes through, I just sent it to you on Facebook Messenger. Look at the tail on that one.
Let's see, where did this go? Oh wow, this is wild. I just love that it just I wish it would keep that. How it's got just the two big spots and a couple small spots.
It kind of is. It's bigger than that now, and the spots are getting darker on the tail.
So now, how big of a breeder do you have to be to get your name out there? Like, where they're like, oh, this is a Sensky female, this is a Sensky albino.
I never thought about it before. I never really. I don't know. Next year I'll probably produce 200 animals, but then you got people like Wally Kern, not just in leopard geckos, but all his geckos. He produces, I'm sure, thousands. And you got Gary Orner, who produces 3,000-4,000 animals a year. Then you got people like who is it? Gourmet Rodent. He produces like 40,000 geckos a year.
40,000. Is he just supplying Petsmarts and Petcos? Like, what is he?
That's exactly what he does. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's nothing. They don't really. They do special projects, but most of their stuff goes to like Petco and PetSmart and things like that.
I mean, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to get those.
Yeah.
Like, no disrespect.
A lot of people don't like that they do that because they don't think PetSmart and Petco should actually start off with these. Put these animals in their stores, but then you got to look at how many little kids walk into that store, see that leopard gecko, want to buy it, raise it up, and then eventually gets them into the hobby, and then they know they don't buy from there no more. They buy from breeders, like over the line and stuff. And if that wasn't in that store, they would have never got into it.
Right, and I feel like now kids have that, or starter, not even kids, but starter collectors or starter keepers. They have the benefit of the internet. So once they get it, they can research quickly what it needs and what the correct needs are. Get in a Facebook group where they're going to be like, hey, look at my new leopard gecko setup. And then 50 people are going to be like, that sucks. That lizard's going to die. You need to do this. And
bash you half to death.
And then that person's either going to get out of the hobby and hate lizards forever, or they're going to learn. They're going to take a minute to learn. I wish the bashers would take a breath and just be like, hey, man, I can see you got this from Petco, or I can see you got this from the teller. The girl who normally works the teller line at Petco hooked you up with this lizard.
Yeah. I feel bad for the people that go onto Facebook and then they get into it and somebody bashes them for something and a bunch of people tear into them and then the hobby's over for them. I mean, I'll tell you right now, there's big people out there that are got a great name in the hobby. Will go post something on one of them Facebook groups and the people will just tear into them for this is wrong and that's wrong. And these people got 40, 50 years of experience compared to you. I think they know what's going on.
Yeah. You got these new experts.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to put down advice. Like, I'm still new at everything I do. I dabble in everything that I do. So if I put advice, I always try to head it up with like, hey, this has worked for me. Or like, that's a good startup, but this has worked for me. But yeah, I think that the pet store, it's one of those things. It's like a two-edged sword. Like, it gets people into it, and then they have the opportunity to really get into it. Really find out what that animal needs. And I feel like a leopard gecko is a really hardy, easy to keep animal that would be great to get at a pet store. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Except for breeding reasons, because you don't know what's in it. Because you don't want to breed it if you don't know what's in it. Oh,
for sure. Yeah. I can't see anybody who's going to try to do a breeding project, like get their animals from Petco. Like, who are you going to sell that to? What's your market? Unless you're doing 40,000 lizards a year. Like,
gourmet rodents.
Yeah, you're not going to compete. So, it just becomes a crazy thing. But yeah, I guess if you're just keeping the animal as a starter introduction to exotics.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to have a great girl on, my friend Jay, who works. I think she's like the specialty manager at a Petco or PetSmart. And we're going to talk about big box, like the two-edged sword of big box stores.
Yeah.
Now, where are you located that you have these animals?
I'm in North Dakota.
Okay, so
I'm originally from Philadelphia, but I'm in North Dakota.
Okay, and you said your breeding facility is like you have a house next to your house.
Yeah, I'm setting up over there now, and then I got what I got's in the basement now, and then I'm slowly progressing to get over there.
That's amazing. That's an amazing dedication. So has this become like your day job, or do you have a day job that supports this?
No, this is what I do.
That's awesome.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's basically the dream, right, of every hobbyist.
Yeah. To
be able to do this for a living.
Not that I make money at it or anything, because it's just a hobby. So
are you retired from a day job, and this is something you just do?
Yeah, I was a carpenter for many years.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's got to be super handy to set up racks and whatever. Like, you've got to have some.
Yeah, I got videos on my Facebook page. I mean, on my YouTube of
We're
racks
put links
I build.
To that too.
Yeah, where I build racks.
That's fantastic.
Stuff.
So then, when you're looking at animals, like, what are you looking for genetics wise, like to keep them or to sell them, or are there certain aspects you're looking at? Like, I have this. This looks like this looks like a young critter that I've got up on the screen now. Like, what points are you looking for? That's like, okay, this is solid. Because you'll get a throwback with pinched eyes or something, or.
Yeah, what I look for in that animal is I make sure it's got both eyelids. I make sure it's because sometimes they're born without their eyelids, so you got to make sure they got that. They make sure there's no major deformities or anything. And the genetics are in that one that are the same as that first one I showed you because they came from the same parents. Not that they have the exact same thing. Yeah, it's one of its. Not its clutch mate, but that's a little further down the line, but it's still from the same exact pairing.
That's crazy. It's crazy to see that you can get that much difference.
Yep.
In between the same animals, like from the same offspring.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this one's a little bit older.
Yeah, well, no, the other one's much older. It's much bigger. That's just that first picture that I sent you before this picture. Go back one more. It's right. Oh no, it's all the way back over, all the way at the other end, right there.
This one?
That one, yeah, that's it. And that thing's about 50 grams already.
Oh wow, okay.
45 grams maybe.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're just looking for no major deformities, no.
Yeah, I want to make sure they're healthy animals, and I make sure that they the genetics I want to work with, which I want to work with the clouded line. So I held all these back. I want to introduce it to a few things like the blood, which is one of the pictures up there too, is the blood, the tangerine blood. Yep, right there.
This is gorgeous. This is the kind of gecko that just gets me riled up. Like, this is gorgeous.
What I'm hoping that happens when I introduce the clouded line to this is it makes the reds really, really deep red, and the orange is really deep orange.
Okay. So it adds that melanistic quality to the colors that are already there.
Yes.
That's awesome. And the melanistic, for it doesn't know, is like the darker tones in the skin. Melanin. No. Yeah? No?
No. What? Could you repeat that question again?
Was that right? It's so the darker tones is where the melanin comes in. Like that's where
the darker colors, yes.
Okay. I said melatonin. That's not right. That's what puts you to sleep.
Could you let the dog in real quick, Andy?
Melanin, right?
Yeah.
So,
Wally, I don't know if I'm a professional woodworker. I mean, I redo a lot of furniture and stuff. So that's what he said.
Wally's very generous with his adjectives for people. So he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Let's see. And then what is this then?
That's a tangerine albino. Tangerine rainwater albino. Sorry.
And Rainwater's the breeder.
That's the form of the albino. There's 3 forms of albino. You got your bell albino, you got your tremper albino, and you got your rainwater albino. You can't mix all 3 together because if you breed rainwater to a tremper, you get normal looking animals.
Okay. That's just crazy. It's just weird to me how it works, because I would just go, oh, cool, let's breed these together. Let's do this. And then I'd get totally frustrated because that's what you wind up with. So then what happens with the animals that you have? Like, if you wind up with normal animals, are they normal for life, or is this like the third generation's going to be good?
What do you mean?
Like, so say I breed a tremper and a rainwater albino together. I come out with normal animals.
Yeah.
Now I breed.
You wouldn't want to breed that.
No, don't breed those.
No,
leave those alone.
Because the one thing the hobby will tear you up about big time is if you breed the albinos together, for sure.
Okay.
They'll be like, because when people want to work with something, they want to work with. You want to try to get the best looking bell stuff or the best looking tremper stuff. You want to have pure in there. You don't want to have rainwater in it and things like that.
Okay, because that just brings all the stuff they got to get to where they were.
Yeah.
Into that line, and you're doubling up on that basically.
Yeah.
So these guys got a natural albino line.
Yes, this is a natural albino.
That's awesome. Which, I mean, I guess they're all natural.
Yeah.
What am I saying? But they were the first guys. That's what put them on the map. They were the first guys to get albino.
Yeah.
True albino.
Yeah.
So now, and then leucistic. What is the difference between albino and leucistic in these geckos?
Leucistic is a like a white form, I think. I wouldn't even know.
Okay. People aren't really dealing with those anymore, or just you're not? I guess.
I'm not. I only deal with certain things. I don't try to venture out too far into anything.
Well, I feel like you have to find a focus. If you do a project, you can't just be all over.
No, you have to focus in on certain things. This is another one of the brothers, or no, this would be the sister of the same pairings as the first one, as that one. Yeah, the same pairing did that one. So made that one.
And they look about the same age in this photo.
Yeah, they're about the same age, but they're different sizes now. Like I said, that one is almost an adult, and this one really isn't an adult yet.
So you really don't know until they grow.
But they're going to look like.
Right.
That's why, they I would never sell a gecko that was under 25 to 30 grams, because then you get a kind of an idea what it's going to look like to a point.
Okay. You have that idea. So that's where that's kind of small still, but.
Well, this one's 40 grams too now.
Okay.
And it looks just like that. But every time it sheds, its spots get darker. So.
Okay. And these are ones that you're keeping. And so how many do you have in your facility? Which I guess is your basement, but.
Yeah, it's not as many as most people would think. I don't know. I would have to go down, God, maybe 30 right now, but I got more coming.
Okay. That's not a crazy amount. I feel like that's totally doable.
Not crazy yet. I end up getting crazy with. I have a real problem with what I end up doing is getting into things, and then I keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And one day I'm like, oh, I got so much of this stuff for, like ball pythons. I had so many ball pythons, it wasn't even funny. And one day I was like, they're kind of. There's no. I lost my interest in the ball pythons because there was no challenge there or anything.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's got a line of ball pythons now. They're everywhere. They're just. I mean, it's been that way for a long time. They're just everywhere. They don't require a lot of space. They're super easy to keep. They're basically not arboreal either, right? They just need a flat.
That's it. I call them, and another reason I lost interest in them. I mean, I would still keep them or something. I'm not have anything against them, but you put them in a tub, they just sit there. That's it. They sit there. Nothing real challenging about them.
See, and that's frustrating. And then,
I mean, the genetics can be challenging, which are cool, because I mean, you got people like Justin Gabalka that could look at two animals that don't look nothing alike and know exactly what the babies are going to look like when it comes out of it. And yeah, he's very successful at what he does.
That's crazy to have that kind of line, and you have to have a deep, deep passion for it.
Yes.
to get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just I still can't tell different species of isopod apart. So to be able to look at two snakes and be like, that'll make this, let's put these together.
Yeah.
But when I was just at the NARBC, I just did a walk around and got some cards and stuff from people, but it was just almost every table had ball pythons, like a ton of ball pythons for sale. And it was like, oh, ball pythons and corn snakes, which I think corn snakes are kind of cool.
Corn snakes are considered the first domesticated reptile because they've been around for so long, so much. They've been bred so much in captivity.
Yeah,
they've actually mellowed out. They're now ball pythons are getting up and right up there with the genetics. It's unbelievable.
That's kind of neat to see how long it took them to be like truly domesticated. I still would like to try to domesticate squirrels, but so far no luck. Far no luck. I love a squirrel.
I used to have one there was one outside the house when I was a kid, and I used to go to the store and buy nuts and give it nuts all the time.
Yeah.
And it used to come up when I lived in Philadelphia. We had one tree on the whole block. It was in front of my house. The squirrel lived in that tree, and I would give it these nuts every day. Well, every day it would come up and knock on the door, stand on a railing and look in the window and knock on the door, asking for nuts every day. My dad would get so mad because he was so scared he would open up that door and a squirrel would come running in or something, but it never did. But yeah.
That's crazy. We had two when I was a vet tech. I raised two from babies. And I didn't know this, but I guess the parents will the mom will kick a male baby out of the nest early. Like, she'll just get rid of it because there's too many males. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's why you'll find, like, most of the time if you find an abandoned baby squirrel, it's a male. So, and the mother has just like basically abandoned it on purpose. I just found that out recently, but at first they make great pets. They're amazing. They're so fun. They run around. They do crazy stuff. But at some point, the males anyway, they turned basically like violent. They got like to the point where they would bite. They would just out of nowhere, just one day, it just happened. And so, but outside they were still fun to watch because, a previously tame squirrel is still fairly tame. So, they're fun to watch, but I don't recommend it yet. I don't know. I saw that study where they did domesticate foxes over time in Russia. And so you can buy like a truly domesticated fox. But that's a totally other thing. Like, they used a whole facility to see if they could do it. And bless them, they did.
I see them doing with raccoons. You ever see the raccoons that people domesticate?
Are they? No, I haven't seen them fully domesticated.
Yeah, and then what happens is they get into everything. You can't keep a raccoon out of nothing. It will get into everything.
I feel like it would be just the same as having a monkey. Like, you have to keep it occupied. You have to keep it.
If you don't keep them mentally stimulated, you're in trouble with this squirrel.
Well, and I'm looking to see, like, reptile-wise, like, just going back to leopard geckos, like, they're very engaging. Like, they have, like, an intelligence to them. They get into stuff. They check things out.
The animals, the reptiles that are truly intelligent are like your croc monitors.
Okay.
They will watch you and learn your patterns and figure things out. You'll catch them just staring at you, watching you, what you're doing. You figure it out. If you have a facility that has a door on it that can be opened, they can figure out how to open it.
Figure out open doors.
Yes, that's the way that they're very highly intelligent animals. Another highly intelligent one are your cobras. Your king cobras are very highly intelligent, and so are your reticulated pythons. Highly intelligent animals. They figure stuff out. They learn your patterns. Like, they'll know. They'll pick up on your little mistakes you make, and they will eventually take advantage of it.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think of that, because retics get big.
Yeah.
So it's almost scary to think. Like, that's a potential human predator.
Well, croc monitors, 12 feet.
Wow. Are they known to go after people?
And they got teeth like a shark. So if they were to even nick you with their teeth, you're bleeding bad. It's bad.
I don't know that I've
But
ever even
they're
seen those.
oh yeah, they're when you're off here, you need to look them up.
We're all going to Google these afterwards, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody on the show today, Google croc
Extremely-
monitors.
And you can go watch a video on YouTube about croc monitors, and the guy had to put locks on the outside. He's got these big walk-in cages, you know,
Okay.
and he had screen doors on them, glass screen doors. And the croc monitors figured out by watching them how to open the doors. So he had to put locks on the outside when he came out, so he wouldn't come into the facility and he'd be out of the cages. So he put cameras up and watched them. And after he would leave, the croc monitor would walk over to the door, climb up, put its hand on the handle, and open the door and get out.
That would blow me away. That would completely blow me away. And to think of like a king cobra. Like I've watched some videos of people that keep king cobras, and now it makes me a little sad. Because I feel like if something is that smart and you're keeping it in a bin setup, basically, like that's almost criminal to me. I get if they're a rescue, I guess they have a better life than they would have had in the previous lifetime, but I feel like they're not social. It's not like they're social animals.
No.
Cobras aren't hanging out on purpose.
No.
But still, I feel like that's just unfortunate to put that much intelligence.
There's a few things that I would not, because you have to sit and think, well, that animal knows what's going on now, you know?
Yeah.
And it could figure stuff out, and it's just not right to keep them like that. So.
Yeah, but then you run that risk, like you put them in something like you're saying, they take advantage of your mistakes. So you put them in something where they're running around, and now you're in danger.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
It's like you've got to do something special. Because you see all these professional guys, and they get nailed by their cobras.
Yeah.
So they're trying to do rescues, and they do everything right, and they still get popped.
Yep. It happens.
That's terrifying. That is terrifying. So, because I did not respect snakes. I did not respect snakes at all until I held a green anaconda. And I'll tell you what, I was like, how do people get killed by snakes? Like, you just grab its head and crush it, right? Like, that's it. Nah. Just feeling that thing move on you. And it wasn't even full grown. It's not even half grown. And you can just feel that muscle. Like, you've kept Burmese. Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You just feel that muscle move, and they're not doing anything threatening to you, but you're like, whoa, okay. The hairs in the back of my neck are standing up a little bit. Like, this is, potentially a bad thing.
Well, you get berms, right? They get bigger than a retic, heavier.
Yeah.
But they're not as muscular, I guess you could say. You get you get into retics, and they're like a solid animal. Okay. Same with like a boa. Just a solid animal. But you got to give all these big animals their respect that's due to them, because you could end up in serious trouble quick.
Yeah, I mean, in a second, if they wrap you, it happens in a second. And what do you do? Like, you don't have the reaction time.
No, but I could tell you how to get them off you real quick.
What's that?
If you get bit by like a retic or a berm or an anaconda, anything like that, big like that, if you take the tail, if you can reach the tail,
yeah,
and bend it straight up in the air towards its back, not to break it or not, just up, it'll automatically let go instantly.
Really?
Yes.
That's a nice pro tip.
Yes.
We'll write that down, folks.
Or you can grab it if you can't do that, and if you can't bend the tail, if you bite its tail. You not bite it hard, but just like chew on it real quick.
Okay.
It'll automatically let go. Instantaneously let go.
So it's ready for another threat coming at it.
Yeah, it thinks something's coming at it, so it'll let it go right away.
So the new threat is more important than a snack.
The old one, yeah.
Or whatever it's attacking. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty neat how that works. A lot of people don't know stuff like that. But if you just bend the tail straight up in the air, bend it towards its back a little bit, instantly let go. That'll work for anything, like your your ball pythons, stuff like that. Just let's go. Yeah.
Unreal.
Your dogs.
I've got dogs too.
Oh yeah, I got one.
So now, what's your?
He's a Borbal.
I don't know what a Borbal is.
It's a South African Mastiff.
Oh God, how big does that get?
He's about 150 pounds, I guess.
So you have to bend his tail way up to get him looking.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work.
I had in my vet tech days, I always told people that a dog, and when I was training new people, it'd be like, imagine a dog is as strong as a man, twice its weight. A strong
Yep.
man, twice its weight.
Yeah.
So a 150-pound Mastiff is stronger than me.
Yeah.
So that's always scary and respectful.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And they're big, goofy dogs, but
Yeah.
whoo, man, if that thing decided it had a bad day.
He doesn't like people real well either. So
Oh, see.
the vet said he deals with thousands of dogs in where I live, and he said it's the only one he's scared of.
Wow. That's respectful. That's crazy. So hopefully he doesn't have to go that often, right?
No, I take him in. He's been healthy so far. Just taking him in for his basic, vaccines. That's
now with
about
your house next door you bought a property next to yours.
Yes,
to
directly
turn
next
into
door.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now did that just come up? That opportunity just came up recently, or is that something that's been going on?
Well, the lady next door died a few years ago.
Okay.
We ended up being able to purchase it from the family, from people that bought it after them that didn't want it.
Okay.
But we have a downstairs I have my workshop, and upstairs I'm doing all this stuff up there. Going to start doing all this stuff up there. Working on getting everything over there.
Okay, so you got your wood shop in the basement, and then you'll have the animals upstairs.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's just such an amazing opportunity to have. I'm sure there's a million keepers. Anyone that will watch this is jealous of that situation right now.
Yeah.
So we have an isopod breeder that has a major shed outside. It's like 20 by 12 or something, which is respectable. But it's kind of an outbuilding that he has, and that was my previously jealous facility situation. So this is a full house with everything.
Yep. Two stories.
So are you going to be able to keep rooms at a certain temperature, just the whole room?
Yes, because I'll heat the upstairs rooms different than I do anything else. You can keep it separate out. What my plan is to put you ever see them radiator heaters in there, or they got the ones you can put in your window, the heaters that are heat during the winter and cool during the summer?
Yep.
That's what I'm going to put on there and set it at a certain temperature and go from there.
That's just genius. See, and that's just, you could have one for leopard geckos, one room for tarantulas, one room for whatever. Just smart. Just smart. If you have the opportunity to do something, like, by all means, do that.
Yeah.
So I've got all my stuff right now in the basement. Can I that way? That's my setup. That little cubby behind my furnace. So the only problem I have now is keeping it moist. So I have to keep up on that really hard.
Yeah.
But I'm not at all any kind of a serious or even on purpose breeder of anything. It's just isopods.
Well, how many isopods do you have?
Species? I'm down. I don't really have a full count right now. I think I have 15 species now. Possibly more, just because I have randoms that escaped before I unloaded a bunch. Randoms that got into other bins. So I know I have some cross-contamination in some of my bins. So I have stuff that I don't even realize I have right now. But I've got, I don't know, like 15 species right now. 16 if I count the Punta Cana project thing that I had, and my high yellow vulgare that I did.
Yeah. I have 19.
That's it?
Yeah, 19 species of.
They're probably decent species though, right? It's not like
I got Hoff and Sagais. I got let me think. I got some Panda. Okay. Panda Kings. I got some papayas.
Papayas are so cool.
Yep. I got a few things.
I think the next species I would go for with those is Orange Crush, the armadillo officinalis Orange Crush, because I think they just look like little peeled grapefruit when they curl up.
Yeah. I also have magic potions.
Okay.
I have granulatum. I have to think everything I got. I got white dwarfs, but they're Not
Yeah.
near the other ones, because I ain't gonna have them invade everything. I was already told they invade everything.
They do, and I didn't know this except from Wally. It's a big deal when they invade. It can be a big deal. It can crash your colonies.
Yeah,
So not good.
and everything here is, they're all they're all producing for me, so they're all doing really good that way.
Yeah, I kind of want to get into the giant Spanish ones, because I took it for granted that they're easy now, because I think they are. I think from all accounts that I hear, there's nothing really special about it. It just takes time to breed them. Like, they take a lot longer, and they are more sensitive, but I mean, the care is almost identical to any other species you have.
One thing I've learned about all of the isopods I've had now, I don't know if this is normal or not, but I've noticed that on average, it takes about 5 to 6 months on most stuff before you start getting production going. At least that's my opinion.
I think that depends. I've had mixed results. So I've had a couple species that I got from particular breeders. Like, obviously, they showed up, and some of the isopods were pregnant already. So I had production almost immediately. And then I had some species that never produced for me. I finally got clowns. My brain is totally off today.
Klugi? Is that what they're called?
Montenegro. Yeah.
Klugi.
Armadillidium klugi Montenegro.
Yes.
I had from 3 different breeders. I had colonies that were all mixed. Yeah, I mixed them all together because I never got babies, and they just kept dying slowly. So finally, I had a friend send me. It was like a pity party. He sent me like 50 adults and juveniles, and now I have the colony that everybody has. I have the hundreds and hundreds. So, but that happened almost immediately when I started with 50. So I feel like it depends on what you start with. If you're starting with the 6 or the 12, like the standard numbers, and that's your starting colony, yeah, you're gonna be like 6 months to 10 months out.
That's what the whole of mine started out with, was like 10 to 12 or something. But another thing I've noticed is some of them, a lot of people say when you do the watering and you water the one half and then put some people light mist some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Where some of them can't take that.
Yeah, they don't like the misting.
Yes, some species will die if you missed it.
That was one of the things. I think the klugi is one of the ones that they don't like it. So I don't know that they'll die, but maybe they will. But I missed down the side of the thing. Mm-hmm. I don't mist onto the substrate itself. It like rains down the side, basically.
Yeah.
And that's been giving me better results. So I just do that with everybody. And I just let it kind of soak in to that one side. So, and their genetics are totally weird. I know Russ Wilson is the one to talk about with their genetics, as far as I know, because he does his own separate projects or tries to recreate projects that other people have done with a lot of good success. Because there are some that are so bred into, like, I don't know who first got dairy cow, but apparently dairy cow have different genitals now. So they don't really breed back to P. laevis. So,
I've heard that.
Yeah, they've had like no progress really breeding dairy cows to any other P. laevis.
I watched that episode you did.
Oh, with Russ?
Yes.
That was a good episode. Russ is a great guest. So I have to reach out to him again and see if he wants to come back on. I have some other topics to talk to him about now that I know a little bit more.
There's a breeder here about 40 miles from me called Smug Bugs. I don't know if you ever heard of her before.
She's in, I just posted on Facebook. It was in Isobuddies before you remember, I guess, but her products are in Petsmarts and Petco's up here now.
She, her stuff is huge. It just took off. She started off just out of her house, and she was on the news local here because it started out in her house, and within a year she had to move up to a facility and hire people. Now she's filling truckloads that are going to all the Petsmarts or something. I'm like, holy cow.
I mean, I'm in Northern Illinois. And I was at the PetSmart a couple weeks ago, and I turned around I was at the like feeder station looking for feeder bugs, and I saw all these smug bug, like her label on these tubs, and I was like, what the hell? It was just like powder blues and dwarf whites, not dwarf whites, powder blues and springtails is all it was that I saw. So I don't know if they're selling them as feeders or if they were selling them as like cleanup crew or what their purpose was. I didn't ask. There's never a person around to ask anything at those stores. They're always doing 50 other things. So I wanted to see what their response would be. If they knew about them or what to do with them or what the purpose was. But anyway, I thought it was really cool to see them in a big box store.
Well, that's a sign that the hobby's going to take off bigger than it already is because people are interested in them. Even if they're just for cleanup crews, they're just interested in them. That's how most people, I think, get into it. They get a cleanup crew, and then they're like, well, there's different ones of these, and then they look at them all, and then you get into like like just for instance, the Hoffman Segai, the giant ones. I mean, you're like, wow, look at that.
The Hoffs are so cool. They're so cool. And I swear they have personalities. It's so cool to watch them. They guard their babies. They take territories. They're just such a cool. Hoffmans are like a whole different breed by themselves, I think. So it's like a whole different animal almost.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to upscale my Hoffman Segai enclosure now because they're just taking off. I got so many. One day I looked in there and it was this tiny little baby. You could barely make it out. And then now there's 50, 60 of them in there. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah. You got to split them off. You got to make different colonies. Because I found out that they're territorial. So the more they get, the less they'll breed. So because they don't have enough space, they don't feel like they have enough space. So the females will be like less receptive, apparently.
Well, I'll set up another tub right away for sure to separate them because I can do that easy.
Oh, it's so easy. That's the thing that I love about isopods. It's so easy to just throw another. My wife was like, are you done setting up isopod enclosures now? I'm like, I don't know. I have like 80 pounds of dirt, 80 pounds of substrate sitting here in a bin ready to go. I can set up 50 enclosures tomorrow. So she's like, no, you can't. At my heyday, I had, I think, 35 species. And I had a lot of stuff going on. So I had to downsize. And I got into ants. So I'm a fan of keeping ants now.
Are you going to grow your collection of your isopods?
I may. It's slowly but surely. And it'll be things that I really want, like dream species. So it won't be just, when I got to the 35, I was like, oh, I'll have some of this and I'll have some of that. It was like adding species to an order to justify the shipping.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, I have $50 worth of stuff and it's $20 shipping. Oh, there's giant canyons. I could get 20 of those for $20. Let's do that. Let's add that to that.
Now, do you have like any Cubaris species at all?
I have some Panda Kings left. I went through that bin. I thought I sold all of them to a friend. And then I went through the bin and I found out that there were apparently some Mankai or some adults that had been burrowed that I didn't see. So I have some Panda Kings left that they breed like crazy, So I'll have a ton of those again real soon. And I have rubber duckies that I literally just leave alone. And I see them occasionally. I'll see one or two. I just saw 3 babies yesterday under a piece of wood. So I just have the standard rubber duckies that were a gift. And then I had Pak Chongs, but they all died. So, which is sad because Pak Chong is one of my favorite.
Do you add bat guano to your to the Cubaris species at all?
You can tell by my eyebrows. I don't even know what you're talking about. Bat guano? Is that a thing?
Guano. Yeah, because they come from caves. Most of the Cubaris species come, and they eat bat guano, and you can buy it right online.
I think you just buy it at a nice shop, right? For like a greenhouse.
I would think so. That's what this come from. I guess that's what I ordered it from. But we don't have very many of them around here, so
that's got to be a smell.
I don't know. I didn't open this one yet, but no, it's you go buy the dirt with it mixed in it already. But they.
Huh. Honestly, I bet all your species would do good with that.
Yeah, I would think so because Wally Kern throws gecko feces and all of his. I get into a point, and they eat it. They do well, so I would think that the guano would do just as good.
That's their job. All right, folks, you heard it here. I heard it here first. I don't know about you, but bat guano, you can get online. Amazon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's where I got it. Amazon, yeah.
Bat guano. My wife will be like, "What the hell is coming in Amazon now?" I've ordered some ridiculous stuff for these animals.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're as easy as you want them to be, right? You can make it as complicated as you want.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like a lot of the ant species would benefit from the back guano too.
Yeah, I would think so. Wally, you don't add back guano, do you, or do you? Because he's on here. I was just going to ask him if he adds it or if he adds. Because I know he adds the gecko feces to it, but I don't know if he does the back guano. But I'd learned that from somebody over. Of course, I was watching YouTube and I seen it from big breeders overseas over there, and they go out and get back guano.
I'm so behind on the things because I was watching the screen with the pictures on it. I don't even watch. Oh, Russ is here. Russ is here watching tonight. What the hell? You must be important. You must be really important, Andrew.
Why is that?
Russ, I don't think Russ has ever tuned in. I don't remember.
I have offered. Now he says he's offered snake waste, but I've offered snake skins. They eat all the skin except for the belly scales. Like when you the sheds, they'll eat it all except for the belly scales. And I think it's because the belly scales are just a little different. They might be a little tougher or something. I'm not
those
sure.
big scoots, yeah.
Yeah.
I've not used back guano either. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to throw all of their stuff. Andrew is important. Look at that. All my guests are important. Andrew's important. I'm so glad you finally came on. To an extent. I've been a waiter for a long time. Oh, tonight's episode is brought to you by Texas Roadhouse. So I got permission from my manager to use them as a sponsor tonight. So since they are officially funding this episode.
What do you mean by to an extent? No, everybody's important, especially you. Without you, we wouldn't have your Tuesday shows.
Boom! Well, I know I'm important. I mean, that was not a question.
Oh, yes. Oh, I thought that's what you were saying or something.
I've been a waiter for too long. I watched someone mix ketchup and ranch tonight into a sauce and dip chicken nuggets into it, or chicken wing meat. And I don't think that person's important. I think that sounds so disgusting to me. I wanted to try it, and my trainer tonight, like I'm being trained there now, like I know what I'm doing, but whatever. He was like, dude, no. Do not mix ranch and ketchup. He's like, I will not be able to talk to you again.
Good point, Wally. I never thought of that, but no, I don't have mites. So, and if I had to treat mites, I would have to move all my tarantulas and all my isopods into a separate room, because I know a tarantula is basically a mite, because that's what mites are, is an arachnid. And if you treat mites for something in your tarantula room, your tarantulas will die. And I'm sure the isopods would do the same thing.
That's not good. Yeah, I can't. My wife was like, what if we get bugs this year? And I was like, we're just going to have bugs. I can't spray. I can't spray. I have isopods. I have ants. I have jumping spiders. I have daddy long legs. I can't. I can't spray. We're going to have to learn to live with it.
This lady, there's a lady down the corner, about a block down from me, about a half block down from me. She had this pine tree and she had spider mites in it. So they had a company come out and spray this tree, and the whole neighborhood stunk. First thing, I was in panic mode. I was thinking, oh, geez, my stuff. But nothing happened because it didn't. But I was worried that something would happen.
That's scary. That's scary. Now, isn't there a trick for treating for mites where you take this is old school. We take a film canister with a little piece of flypaper in it, and you drill a small hole, and the mites go after whatever's on the flypaper.
Well, I've never heard that one before, but I've heard of using olive oil, because then they can't lay the eggs, and the mites go into the skin, and if you cover the snake with olive oil, they can't breathe. They have to come off to breathe, but it's a never-ending battle. But they got all this stuff for mites, but you just go buy Frontline Plus for your dog that you use for fleas.
Yeah,
you can spray a rag, wipe the snake down, or done. What you got to do is break the cycle. Yeah, that'll do it. You got to break the cycle. Or like fleas, you got to break a cycle of a flea.
Fleas are my bane. That's why I don't understand people with outdoor cats. Like, no, fleas are the worst thing in the world.
Well, yeah, and what a lot of people don't understand is if you got fleas and you got carpet, it's almost impossible to get rid of the fleas. You got to sprinkle borax, the 20 mil borax, to dry the eggs out real quick, and then vacuum them up just to break the cycle of them hatching over and over again.
We went insane with borax, so we put the powder in our bed, like under the sheet on the mattress. And let me tell you, if you want a rash, If you want to develop a rash on your entire body, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. We
And
had to
dog-
basically.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm listening. No, dog fleas and cat fleas are different.
These were
They're
cat
not the
fleas.
same. Yeah, cat
So-
fleas bite you. Dog fleas don't.
Yeah, they were bothering us, and it was to the point that it was impossible to get them off. So we just had to wait the months until the treatments on the cats itself worked, because eventually it kills everything. The cats pick up all the babies and kill them all. So everybody's doing so good. This is great. This is such a great episode.
Great to see everybody in here.
Unreal. The big names. Russ, stay posted. I'm definitely going to be in contact this week to see if I can schedule you to come on again.
Well, that'll be a good episode.
I have some thoughts.
Did you
I got
see
Russ
the
to
episode?
laugh. I'm so excited.
I loved his episode that he did with Clint from Clint's Exotics. Is it Clint's Exotics or Reptiles? Yes, that was a great episode, Russ.
You know what sucked about that episode is I'm building a giant vivarium just for those emerald tree skinks. Like, I'm so sold on those now because of that episode.
He showed me a species on there that I find I've seen it before, but after he really showed it, made me want to get it. The Expansis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I really want some of those.
they're gorgeous. I want to get the high orange because I'm a Wally fan. I love my orange.
Yeah.
7 dust in a stack. What is 7 dust? Has anybody heard of that?
It's a powder. I believe it's a powder. But the problem with that is in the snake breathes it in and ingests it. People say 7 dust works great for stuff, but I would just prefer to spray a rag and wipe a snake down with a rag with what's the name on it, so they're not breathing in the dust. If that's the same stuff I'm thinking of. But I heard a lot of people say 7 dust.
Orange is the new orange. Wally wins.
Yeah,
Wally
orange,
wins
and he likes his reds too.
Wally?
Yeah, he likes his red. His crested geckos are all red. He likes his crest. Not all of them, but he loves his
Wally,
reds.
what is this? What is this I'm hearing about red now, Wally? This is hearsay. He does have some beautiful red. He just posted a baby. That was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I see people use it on snakes all the time, the 7 dust, but I would never do it. It's just personal. I prefer to use others, like the Frontline. You can go buy a bottle of Frontline for $5. Use it for ever. Would last.
Ants Flagstaff asks how long you've been into geckos. So you said like over 20 years?
15 years or so, off and on. But reptiles in general has been 30 plus years.
I think I'm right along there with you being into reptiles. I was never into it as much as you. Just because it's so much. To me, that's a lot of work. And I like to keep like 1 or 2 of things. Like I like zoo quality. Like I want to have, this is my leopard gecko display, and this is my crested gecko display right next to it. And this is, this is my one ball python named Louis, and this is whatever else. I'm not even like Noah. Like I have one of everything, basically. Which is why Isopods is so weird for me, because if you have 2 Isopods, you have 500 Isopods.
Well, I can't. Another thing I find is I can't have one of something. I have to have more than one always.
Well, and I think it's cool with the reptiles because they're so different. Like each one has different markings. Each one's, they are individuals. So physically and attitude-wise. Like I miss my leopard gecko so bad because he was the one that even into his old age, his tail would do that. It would curl up, and like every time he went to go after something, he did that crazy tail thing. And I only ever saw that in juveniles, but he kept it when he was a big fat Jabba the Hutt one. He was never that big, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like when they get that big, thick, chunky tail.
Yeah.
He did it even then. And it was like, how are you even doing that? He would walk up the branches. He had a couple of big branches in his enclosure. He'd walk up the branches and jump at stuff that was climbing somewhere else. He was a maniac.
That's pretty funny.
I've never seen a leopard before or since do stuff like that. He was a maniac.
Do I have any interesting projects going on right now? Cool ones. Let me think. I got with the leopard geckos, I got the clouded line stuff that I got from Gary Orner, which I want to be putting into a bunch of stuff this year. And I got some Parador Pictus stuff, which is going on, which is pretty cool. And then I got some crested gecko stuff.
Crested gecko. Well, I didn't even know you had crested geckos.
Yeah.
Andrew, you're holding out on me. So what are you breeding for crested gecko? What are you looking for there?
Pinstripes. I got the pinstripes. I got a lot of pinstripe stuff. And then I got this red one from Wally. It's a beautiful red crested gecko. Beautiful.
He's got some
Stunning.
great stock. He's got some great stock. I need to get to a show where he's actually selling.
Then I got this beautiful gargoyle gecko from him. Now I need to go get a male for it. It's a beautiful female gargoyle gecko.
More red too. Again, one of the red ones.
Yeah. It's like an orangey red color, but then when it's fired down, it's pure white with like red spots.
That's awesome. Ants Flagstaff, a new viewer, says that they may have gotten a gecko from you.
It's very possible. I sold a bunch to a bunch of people a while back from about 5 years ago before I got out of it and got back into it again. I was breeding them pretty big, and then I sold a bunch of babies to a bunch of people then.
I like how easy it is to kind of like downsize.
That's what I did. Yeah, I had to downsize at that point, but now
you have a house to fill.
Yeah.
Now you have a whole house to fill with geckos. So
Yep. So it'll be good there.
I feel like I would just like strip the floors in the one room and throw down sand and let them go nuts. Here you go. If the males weren't so aggressive. Yeah. If the males weren't so aggressive with each other. That's the only time I ever got bit, was trying to separate two males.
I got bit on the finger once. It took a chunk of skin off my knuckle. I reached in and I went to grab him, and I was too aggressive. When I've learned since then, when you reach in, you don't just reach in and grab the male when breeding's going on. You reach in and you pick it up. It's not from slightly. You get it to walk on your hand or something. But I reached in and grabbed it, and it turned around and grabbed my fingers, my thumb, and when it grabbed it, it did a crocodile roll and just started spinning.
Oh my God! So he was taking chunks off. He was looking for a snack. This one just grabbed me and then was like, "Oh wait, you're the guy that feeds me. You're not the guy that's trying to sleep with my girlfriend." We have a couple questions. So when was the last time you were in Arizona, or you sent geckos to Arizona? Do you know?
Let me think. That was 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. Was the last time shipment went to Arizona.
Okay.
I sent a bunch to a big pet store in Arizona. I got to think of the name of the pet store now. I can't remember the name of the pet store, but I will figure it out. It's in Phoenix, Arizona, down there, the pet store I sent him to. So, and I don't know what he did with them. He might have been shipping them out to people. His name is Steve for the balls. I can't remember what the name. His store might be For the Balls, as a matter of fact. I'm not sure, because he's a lot of ball pythons and stuff.
Python guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are any of your geckos in a bioactive enclosure?
I do not, and I will tell you why I do not do that. It's a personal thing, okay? I cannot look in with my reptiles, and this comes from having them 30 years ago and seeing something crawl in there or crawl on it. Like if you have like springtails on, it'll drive me crazy. It just makes me think of infestations of mites or something. So I don't do it. It's a mental thing.
Okay. So it's something that like you just have a personal.
Yes.
Gecko's 4 years old. Okay, so Flagstaff's gecko's 4 years old. Yeah, he thinks it's about probably one of yours. That's kind of awesome. Look at that connection.
Yeah. There you go.
Lance Flagstaff just became a viewer, so a couple weeks ago. And then, okay, Aquarium Russ says that's a fair thing. And then Permian Exotics, Morris wants to know, over 30 years, when did it go from hobby to business? It sounds like it went from hobby to business to hobby to business. Like,
well, it's just more of a hobby. It's always has been.
Okay.
When I started off, I was breeding things like retics and berms and stuff like that, and then we moved, and I cut way back on that stuff, and then that got to be a lot of work. That stuff eats a lot of food. When they go to bathroom, it's a lot bigger than just, So that's why they all kind of went. And I found good places for all those guys.
It just at some point it becomes too much work. It's not.
Yes.
It's not a fun hobby anymore. So why are you doing it?
Yep.
Why am I putting all this effort into this? This is a job now. This is like chores. I chose chores. That's the thing. When I have a problem with it, that's why I kind of dumped a bunch of isopods. That and I needed some money. But
But I will say this about Russ's question there about the bioactive. If I ever do a bioactive enclosure, it will definitely be for a crested gecko or a gargoyle gecko or something like that. I was always thinking like that. You know, I would like to get some Leachianus at some point in time and set up a bioactive enclosure with them or something like that. Something that I know most of the stuff stays low. They're up high usually. A little different, you know.
That's very cool. I'm a big fan of Leachies right now, just because I got to hold one at NARBC, a grown one, and just couldn't get over the texture of them is so cool.
Yeah, if they bite you, you'd never forget it.
Oh, I imagine. This one had to be super docile because the owner, the seller was just like handing them out to whoever. It was like hey, I'm gonna get you hooked. Like, here, hold this cold-blooded puppy.
Yeah.
They're melted dinosaurs. Yeah, I told the guy to his face, I'm like, this is like a scrotum with legs. And he was like, really? He was like, there's a bunch of people looking at it with me holding it. And they're like, really, man? Really? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. It's a scrotum. Yeah. So not to get too blue on this show.
No, but they're pretty, they're cool though. I've always liked the way they look. It's just something I've always thought of, I really want to try them at least once to gargoyles, and then to do like a full bioactive live plants. I think that'd be so cool. If I had the skills, like carpenter skills, it would just be enclosures down here. And the reason I don't, I see a lot of people put them in with their tarantulas, isopods and stuff like that. Now, isopods are not going to really attack your tarantula. That was a big saying like that. But I always think this. If the isopod, if the tarantula molts, there's a point where it's really soft and on its back and very vulnerable to an isopod, I would think, if it decided to go over and try to bite it or something, thinking it was dead, or because you never know. I always worry about that with the tarantula, so I don't keep them in there either.
I have heard it's an issue with millipedes, but I haven't heard about it with anything else. So I imagine it depends on what you keep in there.
Yeah, I would think too.
Like,
I wouldn't think white dwarfs would bother it any or anything like that, but I would think if somebody threw some dairy cows or something in there, your tarantula would be in trouble if it was molting.
Oh, Morris just said that isopods ate your horde king assassin bugs. Morris, is that what you're saying? If it eats assassin bugs, it'll definitely chew on your tarantula then.
Yeah, so I don't do that.
Yeah, because tarantulas don't like climb a tree and molt. Like, they just molt on the ground.
You see Wally's comment, he'll never look at Leachianus the same again.
I have a gift for ruining things for people where they just they have to see something this way from now on. And I don't know if it's a gift. It's a gift for me. It's a curse for other people. They ate one mid-molt. Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't know if it ever happened, but that's what always popped in my head.
He's talking about assassin bugs, but I mean, an assassin bug is still a big bug. Yeah.
Yeah. And tarantulas molt, so I would think they could really do some damage to them if they wanted to.
Okay. Oren says that isopods will attack beetle pupa. Oren McMonigal. I love that guy's name. He sounds like a wizard. Like, it sounds like he's from Harry Potter. Like, he's going to teach you a class.
Well, Wally, I didn't think you were a huge fan of Leachianus anyway.
He has a bit of Cubaris red skirts. They have a bunch of bumblebees. And they're all doing just fine. Okay. I wonder that Cubaris aren't very protein fiends, are they? I don't keep that many of them. I don't notice that they go crazy for the protein at all.
No, but there are some species that are big protein fans, so I think you would run into trouble.
Well, a lot of the tarantulas need it dry, and that's the dry ones are really protein hungry. So you've got like giant canyons are big protein hungry bastards. You've got pruinosis. Pruinosis are just massive swarms of, protein hungry monkeys. Okay, so Morris says he's done it with a few species of tarantula. Kept isopods. See, I would think they'd just be snacks here and there, but I guess you'd have to manage the population, right? You'd have to really manage it.
Well, Russ agrees with me. Anything that molts is open season.
Yeah.
As far as an isopod is concerned.
Well, and I mean, that's kind of a, I don't know, if it mismolts, usually it's not going to be around anyway. But I don't know that I'd want to be eaten alive.
No.
Like
No.
that's not good. Lychees are big piles of gecko poop with mouths. Yeah, I don't think Wally's a fan of lychees.
No. I here's what I think what Wally looks at when he looks at a gecko. He loves his reds, he loves his oranges, and Leachianuses are green and brown and things like that.
Yeah. And they're cool. I think they're really cool. I think
they're cool.
They'd be super cool to have.
They make a lot of noise sometimes.
Yeah. I've only ever seen it happen in a video. I've never heard them call.
Oh.
But I think it would be super cool to hear that go on during mating season or whatever. Yeah, I might be calling you for some carpenter tips when I build this Viv. I'm kind of hoarding supplies right now and hoping that wood comes down in cost a little bit.
It's starting to come down.
Good.
I mean, a few months ago, a sheet of plywood was $118 in some places, and now it's down to $30, $40. So it's coming down.
$118 for a sheet of plywood.
That's crazy. I know.
That's insane. Like, how would you ever build anything? Like, what? Just keep it. Just keep all the wood. It's fine. I'll use plastic bins. I'll make piles of plastic bins.
Of course I do. Half kidding, Wally. I got you on that. I know that. That's why every time I see you in one of these and people start talking about Leachianus, I have to bring it up, Wally.
We just saw Wally on an ad. I just saw Wally in a somehow his picture was on an ad. I don't remember what it was for. Moss? Somebody's asking about moss, and they had the people at the ad had like Wally's a still from one of Wally's videos. And it was for like forest moss. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, he went out and collected some, I believe.
Yeah, but it was like he had nothing to do with that company or whatever. Oh. So it was really bizarre. 50% gecko poop with a mouth. Yeah, I think that's what he's saying, Russ. I think Lychee is actually 50% gecko poop.
I'll tell you, my buddy,
in a scrotum.
One thing about Leachianus, my buddy had one, had some, and they will direct their feces at you to get you away from them. They will shoot you across, like if you're holding it, they will shoot you in the face. Just, and it's not just a little bit, it's a lot.
I'm out. Thanks. You just saved me what, $700? I don't even know. They were so expensive. They are so expensive. Yeah. And they're everywhere, which is crazy to me again. But I guess that's the thing with a hobby. If you can get it, get it. If you can get that much money, get that much money.
Avix do it, and so do Salmopolis arminia can do that too. Shoot you from across the room in the eye if you have the cage door open, which are tarantulas. So
they shoot you with poop?
They can. Some can.
I've gotten hit with those where they flick the
hairs
at you, and I have a reaction. So like I am kind of anti-tarantula, but don't tell my wife my friend is trying to get me into buying a blonde.
Yeah.
Because they're really cool.
Sturmies?
I think so.
I know. Yeah. Their hairs are worse than any of them.
Really? But they don't flick them, right? But I guess they could just fall off and get on.
No, the blondes there. The Arizona blondes? No,
Arizona blondes. Blondes.
I was thinking of the bird eater ones. They're bad. The bird eater ones, like the giant bird eaters, like the Dalmapos. I think that's how you pronounce not Armenians, but blondes. And then you got not the blondes, but there's like bird eaters that are blondes, and then they got the
sunset or whatever. Like there's like sunset baboon.
Well, the baboons are all old world stuff.
Okay. Sorry.
They don't flick hairs. They got more potent venom. But like the giant bird eater species, which are they're the big ones. I can't remember their names right off the top of my head. I would have to think for a minute. Okay. Their hairs are bad. If you get them in your eyes, you can go blind.
Oh shit. Okay.
But the Arizona blondes ain't like that.
Right. Well, I was at it was Ophi's Spider-Verse. It was Rick at Ophi's. I was at his house. He's nearby, and we're actually like real life friends. It's awesome. I feel like I'm real life friends with just about everybody on this channel. See, everybody's got an Arizona blonde. Ants Flagstaff has one. Everybody says they're good. Dressed in Ghostbusters uniforms, Lychee runs past me. I'm on the floor like Bill Murray. I've been slimed.
I've been slimed.
All right. I'll help come over. I'll come over and help you film that video, Wally. All right. I promise. If you do that, if you do the Bill Murray style video, I will make a trip. But his Arizona Blonde, I'm not someone that handles spiders. Like I have that instinct where like spiders I respect them, but I'm not their friend. And it just like, I put my hand in its container near it and it just reached up and like put his little, whatever, his pedipalp or whatever on my hand and just left it there. It was just like, you just stay there. I'll just stay here. And we'll all get along. Yeah. And so I went to move my hand and he was like, no. He put his other one up. He's like, no, come back. And just kept me there for like 5 minutes. It was great.
Yeah, Wally held a tarantula. I don't remember what kind it was, but he did.
Nice.
I seen him with his video. He was scared of tarantulas, spiders, and there they got a picture of him holding one.
Russ said he got to go see some Arizona Blondes in the wild. This is the most like viewer involved episode ever. To go see Arizona Blondes in the wild would be really cool. Like to see any stuff in the wild is fun.
Yeah, you can go. They got the Texas Blonde and stuff like that too. They call them the Texas Blonde anyway, but they got there's a few tarantula species here in the United States. Yeah,
I don't know if I could live anywhere near there with my wife the way she is. Like she has banned me from having a spider. She doesn't know that we have jumping spiders right now.
She's watching the show, waiting for you to come upstairs.
She doesn't watch my show, and to be fair, I don't really talk about it until we're at least an hour in. So she's already tuned out. If she's watching, she's done.
I used to have I had close to 100 tarantulas, but I cut them back too.
Okay, what are you keeping now, tarantula-wise?
I have some H. gigas, which are cool. They're cool tarantulas. When they get bigger, you can set up a big vivarium with a small aquarium in it and put a rock on the bottom of the aquarium, fill it up with water, and put fish in there. The tarantula will go in and swim to the bottom of the aquarium and stand on that rock to catch the fish as they go by.
You got to be kidding me.
No. And I got some sea marshallies, which are the great horned baboons. I got some curly hairs, some true curly hairs, some Nicaraguan curly hairs, and then I got some P. arminius, which are cool.
Okay. I just I don't know how interesting they are because you can never see them, but the smaller communal ones. So, but you never see them. They're always in their nest. Yeah,
the M. balfourias you can keep in a communal. The another species you can keep in there are the Poecilotheria metallicas, which are the big bright blue ones. They can be kept in the communal, and the H. gigas you can keep in the communal too.
And watch them catch fish together.
Yeah, I guess. But they're pretty cool.
Crazy.
You can look that up if you go onto YouTube and type in H. gigas swimming. They'll show it. They go all the way down to the bottom. They'll stand on the log and wait for a fish to come by, and they'll grab it, kill it, and bring it up and eat it.
So they'll sit underwater.
They'll sit underwater. They swim to the bottom and stand on the bottom and wait.
Do they get that bubble on their butt like the?
Yep, they're pretty cool.
Okay, I gotta try to trick my wife. There's no way. I need to have this in my house, in my life. Yeah. Russ didn't even know that. Russ didn't even know there was a piscivorous tarantula. So bravo. If Russ learned something on this show, this is our last episode. No. We're calling it quits now. We did our mission.
It's you gotta push it hard.
Kick it.
Sorry, that was my son. The door was stuck for a minute. He was trying to get in there.
No worries. Kids will do that, right? My 3-year-old is always asleep by the time the show is on. I'll have to keep her up and bring her on one day. Well, this has gone way over, and we're not even anywhere near talking about genetics anymore. So we probably could have just talked about tarantulas and stuff.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot today, so I appreciate all the knowledge that you imparted to me, at least. Hopefully, other people learned something too. We made a connection with a new viewer that bought some of your stuff before. We've had a lot of audience participation. This has been a great episode. So thanks so much for coming on, Andrew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No problem. Anytime. I enjoy doing this. I love doing stuff like this.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, like everybody that's watching right now, like I wanted you to know, I appreciate every viewer. I talk to almost all my viewers on Facebook on a weekly basis. Like I've talked to Andrew a ton in the last couple months with a lot of information. So, and just, getting to know everybody is such a great community. Thanks, Wally. I think it was one of the best too. I say that every episode, but I really mean it this time. Flagstaff has pink toes, striped knees, Arizona blondes, 2 bird eaters, Brazilian white knees, and orange Flagstaff tarantula.
Yeah, that would be cool. See, I used to have some pumpkin patch, but I don't know. I got them when they were real small. They turned into adults. They all turned out to be males and passed on. They don't live long when they become males after they become males. So,
the females are the ones that live like 20 years and stuff, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Yes. That's kind of cool to have that as that's your pet for 20 years. That would be really neat.
Yeah, it would be.
But yeah, so we're definitely going to have you back as soon as possible. So we're going to get through a couple more episodes and then we'll start recycling everybody again. Yeah. Thank you for finally coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
And joining Isobuddies Facebook page.
Yeah.
I just assumed you were a member of somehow.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had that on there.
I need to put it up somewhere. I need to put it up in the channel description or something. I'm not very good at this. Like I said, I'm not very good at promoting myself at all. So I'm ready to start to get better because we're having really good content. So I think that it's a discredit to my guests that I don't promote it enough.
You should get some. You gonna get anybody on with ants ever? Or have you had
go back and look. We've had like 1 million ant people.
Have you?
We just had an ant episode where we watched in the third screen, where I wanted a third screen from you.
I do remember that video. No,
yeah, that was recent. That was the last ant episode. We're gonna have some more.
I do remember that now.
I was trying to do one a month, and now there's been a lot going on. So I had a mental health thing and took a break for a little while, and some other stuff came up. So I've been kind of just winging it a little bit more lately. But we're gonna get back to where we're formatted, to where I want to have one ant episode a month, and one reptile episode a month, and one isopod episode a month, and then one random episode a month.
Well, I'll tell you something. I do a show called Fauna Radio. Okay. I would like to get you on there talking about your ants and your isopods once.
Yeah, man. Let me know. We'll talk off air.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. So
yes,
you would love it.
That'd be great. Is it like this? Like a live stream type of thing?
Just like this. Yep. I had Wally on there. He loved it.
Done.
At least I think he loved it. He could have just told me he loved it and been like, God, that guy's an idiot, type of thing. But no, Wally's cool.
I have not been on anybody else's show. I've not been a guest yet. So that would be an honor. That would be a super honor. Ants Flagstaff, I'm going to put my email in here and go ahead and email me. And I would love to have you on as a guest.
No, Wally would never say that. Wally loved the show, I think, and it was great to have Wally on. I liked Wally. Wally's a great guy. If you want to know anything, he's the guy to go to. He knows everything.
About what? About doing YouTube?
Geckos, about YouTube. See how fast this channel's growing? You had questions about YouTube. He's the guy to ask about that too.
And I feel like once it hit, we had him on. That's all we really talked about was his YouTube empire. We just kind of went off the last episode we had. He was on a couple weeks ago. So for his second or third, I don't remember. I love having Wally on because I love having Nanette on behind Wally.
I like her facial expressions.
Yes, it's the best. So she had me almost fall out of my chair the last time we were on because it was so great.
Yeah, no, he knows. You got a question about a gecko or anything? He knows it. Isopods, of course. He's good at fish. He's very good at fish too. He's got a fish channel now. He's great. Wally's great.
Just buy him a coffee. So he's got a situation now where he gets a cup of coffee. If you ask a question, you buy him a cup of coffee. He'll talk with you about whatever you want, and I think that's awesome. Time is valuable. So I don't start that because I don't really have any knowledge worth a cup of coffee. So I just have conversational skills. So I'll share a cup of coffee with you at some point. But yeah, let me know. We'll talk off the air about coming onto your show. I would love to. I would love to at any point. So I just need a little bit of notice so I would get the time that you need. So Wally, get that coffee by all means. You deserve it. Wally's helped out so many people. I feel like I owe him a gallon or two of coffee from all the help he's given me in isopods, geckos, just fatherly advice, even though he's not that much older than me really. But anyway.
Wally and Nanette are great people.
Top shelf. I'm so glad to know them. This whole community, the whole community that we found online has been so great. Everybody in it has been amazing. Sorry. So back to where I'm closing out. This has been great. This has been really great, Andrew. If you want, I'm going to put you in the green room. If you still want to talk after this, stick around. I'm just going to do the closing stuff.
Sure.
Everybody else, thank you for coming. I value every one of my viewers. And even if you're watching this later, you don't have to be here for the live stream, but you can see how awesome it can be if you show up. So thank you for tuning in live. I appreciate it. I know we ran late today. I apologize. New job. My new sponsor has me running laps. So we will be back next week where we talk to Jay Gavin about, we're going to discuss kind of the pros and cons of the big box stores and the pros and cons of not just shopping there, but working there, relying on them for an income, all of that. I have some unique perspectives. I've worked at all of those stores before. Jay works there now. She's amazing. She has her own challenge, like her own. Everybody has their own challenges. I don't know what I'm saying. I totally have a deep respect for single moms. So anyway, we're going to have Jay on next week. She is not a particular expert keeper at anything, but I think it's going to be a really great conversation episode. So if you want to tune in and participate there, I think it'll be a great one for the hobbyists, for anyone in the hobby or extended hobbies. As you can see, as we talked about today, a lot of these hobbies are still evolving. So isopods are about to explode, thanks to, in no small part, to Smugbug and others like her who are putting this out there. So yeah, definitely email me tomorrow, Ants Flagstaff. So I need an actual name for you too, because that is a weird nickname. But if you haven't already, if you made it this far, why haven't you liked and subscribed already? Why haven't you clicked the bell icon? Why haven't you gone back to stream another episode on a different screen? There's so much good content on here, and it's not at all my fault. I've got the most amazing set of guests and people that have just honored me with coming onto my show to talk to me about their areas and their passions. I'm just going to call it their passions, not even their areas of expertise. So, as I said, everybody I've had on, I've had such an amazing time with all of my guests. So, oh snap, Ants Flagstaff's name is Josh too. I keep interrupting myself. So have a great night. God bless. Drive safe. If you need a driver tonight, call Uber. All right. Love your show. Talk to you later, folks.